Imagine checking your company's monthly cloud software invoice and seeing a bill for, well, $500 million, not for the year, for a single month.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely terrifying.
Right, and all because someone forgot to put a usage cap on an AI tool. Welcome to episode 521 of AI Brief. Today, we are looking at the razor's edge of technology adoption, and it is a landscape of absolute extremes.
It really is.
We are going to unpack Apple's massive overhaul of Siri, look at a widening productivity gap where top developers are now doing 46 times the work of their peers, analyze that staggering $500 million enterprise billing mistake, and finally, walk through the trending productivity tools you can actually use today.
These updates really frame a fascinating dichotomy for you as a listener. We are, witnessing the absolute boundaries of what AI can do right now. On one end of the spectrum, you have unprecedented, almost unbelievable efficiency gains transforming how individuals work. But on the other end, we're seeing massive, costly blind spots that highlight the severe financial risks of implementing these systems if you aren't, paying very close attention. It's a high-stakes environment.
It definitely is. So let's start with the biggest shifts happening today, focusing first on Anthropic's new moves. They just released their new Opus 4.8 model, and the core improvement they are heavily promoting is honesty.
Honesty. That's a pretty specific focus.
It is. Instead of making things up or just agreeing with your prompts, giving you that dreaded, you're absolutely right response even when your logic is completely flawed, this model is designed to actually push back when it's unsure about something.
Which is a huge shift from how these models usually behave.
Huge. And alongside this technical release, Anthropic finalized $65 billion in funding. That brings them to a massive $965 billion valuation.
Wait, almost $1 trillion?
Almost $1 trillion. Just for creating a model that essentially says, I don't know, that seems, well, entirely disconnected from reality. How do they justify that number to investors?
I mean, it sounds absurd until you look at what is holding enterprise AI back. A model that actively pushes back fundamentally changes the dynamic of how we interact with these systems. Historically, large language models have functioned as the ultimate people pleasers.
They really have. They just desperately want to give you an answer.
Exactly. Their underlying architecture was designed to prioritize a smooth conversational flow over factual accuracy. If you gave them a bad premise, they would confidently build a bad conclusion right on top of it.
Which makes them basically useless for anything high stakes.
Right. It creates a hard ceiling on how much we can trust them for critical tasks in fields like medicine, law, or finance. By shifting the architecture to prioritize uncertainty and pushback, the model transitions from a mere yes machine to a genuine, reliable collaborative partner. This evolution is absolutely necessary for deep enterprise integration. Companies need reliability, not flattery. That predictability is exactly what justifies the valuation.
That makes a lot of sense. And that actually brings us perfectly to our second major update, which is Apple's long overdue Siri overhaul. A recent Bloomberg leak finally gives us a glimpse into how Apple is responding to this generative AI wave.
It's about time we heard something concrete.
Seriously. So Siri is being completely rebuilt on Google Gemini. The new interface will live entirely inside the dynamic island at the top of the iPhone screen, featuring a swipe-down mechanic to run AI searches, chat, or execute iOS tasks.
Oh, that sounds pretty seamless.
It does. This integration uses your on-device data, the content currently on your screen, and the web. Answers will surface as rich visual cards right in that dynamic island, and swiping down even farther brings up a dedicated ChatGPT-style Siri app.
So you have the option to route queries to external AI models.
Yes, exactly. Giving you that external option. They're also baking this into the camera app, bringing advanced photo editing and natural language shortcut creation. To put this into perspective, think of Apple's new Siri like a high-end restaurant's maître d'. It handles all the simple requests in-house, like setting timers, finding photos, managing your schedule, using Apple's secure on-device brain.
I really like that analogy.
But the second you ask for a complex recipe or a deep research task, it silently hands off the request to the master chef in the back, which is Gemini, without you ever leaving the table. Apple isn't just joining the AI race, they are trying to retrofit the track for 1 billion users overnight.
That is a perfect way to visualize the routing. And the pressure on that maitre d' to perform flawlessly is immense. Apple has been bleeding ground to OpenAI and Google for the last 2 years, promising AI features that simply never shipped or underdelivered. The stakes here cannot be overstated.
Yeah, they have a lot to prove to their user base.
Absolutely. With John Ternus taking over as the new CEO, delivering a seamless experience is his first major test. Integrating this deeply into the dynamic island and the camera app means that over 1 billion iPhone users will suddenly experience advanced agentic AI through the device they interact with hundreds of times a day. If this overhaul lands smoothly, it changes global AI literacy overnight. But if it fails, or if that handoff between Apple's on-device processing and Gemini's cloud models feels clunky or slow, it will be a massive strategic failure for the new leadership.
Connecting Apple's push to put AI in 1 billion pockets to the hardcore developer side, we need to examine Cursor's new Developer Habits Report. This data is based on their own product and engineering metrics, and it shows that developer output has more than doubled.
More than doubled. In what kind of time frame?
In just 18 months, the lines of code added by each developer per week have jumped from 3,600 to 8,600. Mega pull requests, meaning code updates with over 1,000 lines changed at once, are becoming entirely commonplace. But for anyone listening who manages software teams, this raises a critical question. Are we just generating bloated, unnecessary code because it is easy to type? Or is this a genuine leap in human problem solving?
The variance hidden inside this report is what you really need to pay attention to here. We are seeing AI agents doing significantly more end-to-end work. For listeners who aren't developers, when we talk about tool calls, we mean the AI isn't just writing text. It is actively reaching out to other software,
Like what exactly?
like compiling the code, running a test, reading the error message, and then fixing its own mistakes automatically. Those tool calls are up 30% in just 2 months. Even more surprising, we are seeing 5 times more AI-made changes, reaching final software commits without any manual human review.
Wow, that demonstrates immense, maybe even dangerous trust in these systems.
Exactly. But here is the crucial usage gap. The top 1% of developers are producing 46 times more code than the median user. The productivity gains are highly concentrated among power users who know how to delegate to the AI, while the median user is still just using it as a glorified autocomplete.
That is a massive divide.
It is. And further compounding this is a massive 9 times cost variance per agent request across different models, with Opus 4.7 being the most expensive. This means companies could be bleeding money on highly inefficient workflows if their developers are blindly defaulting to the most expensive model for incredibly simple tasks.
Okay, so let's pull back from these deep focus topics and look at the broader landscape. What else is actually moving the needle in the industry today?
We have several critical updates across infrastructure, legal, and enterprise software. Starting with Google, they have doubled the Omni-model generations for their Ultra users and finally resolved those persistent Gemini usage limit issues. They accomplished this by introducing free flashlight prompts.
Flashlight. How does that help with limits?
Essentially, Flashlight acts as a cheaper, faster filtering model that handles simple queries for free. This allows Google to put strict caps and better tracking on the highly complex, high-cost requests. This creates a much more predictable and stable environment for power users. Moving to the infrastructure side, Elon Musk clarified some details regarding SpaceX's compute deal with Anthropic.
Oh, the 3-year deal that was reported?
Actually, no, the agreement is for 180 days, not the 3 years that was previously reported in their financial filings. He did indicate that a longer-term deal remains a strong possibility, which keeps the strategic alignment between SpaceX and Anthropic fluid, but the shorter timeline suggests SpaceX is keeping its options open as model capabilities evolve.
That makes a lot of sense in such a fast-moving space.
In the media sector, we are seeing a major clash. CNN has officially filed a lawsuit against Perplexity. The core allegation is that Perplexity's AI tools are generating verbatim copies of CNN's reporting, effectively providing users with information that is normally locked behind a paywall. This is an existential threat to media.
Because why pay for news if the AI just summarizes the paywalled article for you?
Precisely. If an AI platform reads a paywalled article and summarizes it perfectly for the user, the incentive to subscribe to the original publisher vanishes completely. This lawsuit strikes at the very heart of the ongoing tension between original content creators and AI aggregation platforms.
It was really only a matter of time before that boiled over into the courts.
Yeah. And on the enterprise risk front, an AI consultant revealed to Axios that a corporate client accidentally spent nearly $500 million in a single month.
Wait, $500 million in 1 month?
Yes. This catastrophic billing error occurred simply because the client failed to set usage limits on their employees' Claude licenses, allowing automated systems to rack up charges unchecked.
That is unbelievable.
It is a very expensive lesson. In software updates, Microsoft 365 Copilot has received a significant overhaul. The interface has swapped its colorful, intrusive look for a quieter, more consistent design across Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. More importantly, the application now loads twice as fast, with a 10% improvement in response times for complex prompts.
Nice, getting some speed upgrades.
And finally, 11 Labs has shipped their Dubbing V2 model. This release translates video content across more than 90 languages. But crucially, it preserves the original speaker's exact tone, performance nuances, and emotional delivery, making the translated audio feel incredibly natural.
Okay, I have to go back to that $500 million enterprise billing mistake. That is absolutely staggering. When you tie that back to our earlier discussion about the 9 times cost variance across different AI models, the financial risk becomes glaringly obvious.
It really does. It's a perfect storm of automated costs.
Right. If you have a developer who scales a highly inefficient, automated workflow using the most expensive model available, say having an agent loop thousands of times a minute to check a database, and management fails to implement basic employee usage caps, the auto-scaling cloud infrastructure will just happily process those requests until the entire corporate budget is obliterated. It is a massive wake-up call for IT procurement. But let's shift the narrative from industry news directly to what you can use to boost your own productivity today. The trending tools hitting the market right now represent a massive shift from AI as a simple chat interface to AI as an autonomous coworker. Let's group these by how they actually change your workflow.
That's a great way to look at it.
The first group is all about bringing the AI directly into your existing environment. Take Computer by Perplexity. This places an AI agent directly inside Excel, Word, and PowerPoint.
So you don't have to constantly keep switching tabs.
Exactly. It doesn't just answer questions. It allows you to conduct deep internet research and pull formatted data directly into your documents without ever leaving your Microsoft applications. Then you have Notch, which is a fascinating utility that turns the physical black notch at the top of your MacBook screen into an interactive control center.
Wait, the notch? Like the camera cutout?
Yep. You just drag files or text up to the notch, and it triggers your custom AI workflows instantly. Rounding out this group is Varticas. This platform allows you to automate highly complex digital tasks using natural language.
Give me an example of what that looks like.
Well, imagine telling Varticas to scrape a competitor's website every morning, format their pricing changes into a spreadsheet, and draft an alert to your sales team. It essentially deploys autonomous AI coworkers to handle repetitive digital logistics.
That is incredibly powerful for small teams.
It is. The second group focuses on frictionless creation, taking the friction out of moving from an idea to a finished asset. Gamma remains the premier tool here for presentations. You give it a simple text prompt outlining your business case, and it instantly generates a compelling, highly designed, multi-slide pitch deck.
I've seen that in action. The design quality is really impressive.
Banana Prompt takes a similar approach but is dedicated strictly to visual assets, turning rough text ideas into fully shipped, production-ready graphics. For high-end marketing workflows, Xanta is gaining serious traction for creating stunning, high-fidelity images and videos that maintain strict brand consistency.
Consistency is always the hardest part with AI image generators, so that's huge.
Definitely. And the final group is about scaling your output globally. The Founder Starter Kit utilizes Pika's Claude integration to act as an automated project manager. It helps you take an idea from the initial product concept through the development roadmap all the way to launch.
Like an AI co-founder, basically.
Exactly. Once you have that product, you can use Paris 2.0 by Bagel. This platform utilizes highly efficient, decentralized trained AI for video generation. It taps into a distributed network of computers, offering a completely new pipeline for creating visual assets without needing massive, localized server power.
That's a really interesting approach to finding compute.
And finally, to distribute that content, we have the tool just mentioned, Dubbing V2 by 11 Labs. The practical use case here is adapting your existing English video content into 90 different languages, allowing for massive global reach without ever needing to hire international voice actors or studio time.
The practical angle you really need to consider here is how you can theoretically stack these tools to multiply your output. Think about the workflow you just described. You could use Varticas to completely automate your market research and data collection. You feed that raw data into Gamma to instantly generate a highly polished visual pitch deck.
Oh, I see where you're going with this stack.
Right. Then you record a quick video explaining the pitch and use Dubbing V2 to localize that video presentation into a dozen different languages, perfectly matching your voice and emotion. By sequencing these specific tools, a single individual sitting at their kitchen table can effectively operate with the output, the polish, and the global reach of an entire traditional creative agency.
That is a mind-bending shift in leverage. And that brings us to our final thought for today. Think about the two extremes we have discussed in this deep dive. On one hand, you have the top 1% of developers pulling 46 times ahead of their peers.
A massive gap in the workforce.
On the other hand, you have single individuals stacking these new AI tools to do the work of entire teams. If you are a media knowledge worker listening to this, what happens to your role over the next 18 months if you do not adapt? The baseline for what is considered a normal day of productivity is being completely rewritten in real time.
It is a daunting reality, but it's also the greatest leverage opportunity in modern history if you decide to lean into it.
Absolutely. Make sure to follow and share this podcast to stay ahead of the curve. See you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening, and stay curious.